Lorenzo, my mate, here we are in the Algarve. How you doing?
Very good, and you?
Very good, thanks. Yeah. Been looking forward to this. I guess the first question is, we're here in the Algarve. Is the oxygen protocol just being in sunny weather, being able to get in the sea, or having a hyperbaric oxygen?
It can be. It
Yeah.
can be. That's, let's say, a very interesting way to think about it, and that's probably the easiest way to get it. Obviously, some things you need to be a little bit more conscious,
Yeah.
and to have like the real hard benefits. But to start with, I think our conditions here in the Algarve are perfect to have the minimums.
Yeah. Yeah. I obviously done this podcast for about 11 years, and for 8 of those 11 years lived in the UK. And I can't make all my wellness advice now. Just move to Portugal, but it's a great start because
Sure.
because we're talking about oxygen today. You're just able to get so much more fresh air,
Sure.
being outside so much longer in the year here.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
Yeah, fresh air, sun,
Yeah.
grounding, lots of good things.
And this isn't necessarily the topic of the podcast today, but I've always felt that one of the things that really caused my health to dip when I was in the UK was in the middle of winter, not being able to open the windows. That stale air, it's really bad for you, isn't it?
Sure. It is.
And at night, stale air, I find, really makes my nose blocked. I don't sleep as well. It's nice to have a window open, but if it's -3 outside, it's so bloody cold, you don't want to have the window open.
But there are some countries in Europe, North Europe, that even during the winter, they sleep with the open window.
Ah, yeah.
And they are used to that.
In Germany, they call it Luften, which is the art of opening a window every 20 minutes.
Okay.
But yeah, here we don't need to so much. So the oxygen protocol, let's talk about this. What was the moment, Lorenzo, that you thought, I need to write a book about oxygen?
Well, to be honest, it was not a book about oxygen. It was a book about... I was reading a book that was called the longevity enzyme, which was talking about telomerase, which is an enzyme that will extend the size of your telomeres, which protects your DNA, and the impact that has on health span and lifespan. And on this book, there was no mention of hyperbaric, which I found to be, because we know hyperbaric stimulates the production of telomerase and extends the telomeres. So the idea of the book was really to make the bridge between those two concepts, and that was the starting point. And then it became a longevity book, and then focusing a little bit more on oxygen and how oxygen impacts 7 of the 12 hallmarks of aging.
Yeah. And maybe we should rewind a little bit and tell people a little bit more. Obviously, you and I have been friends for a couple of years, and I'm very excited to have helped you with the book as well. And I know about all the... In England, we would call it, you've got fingers in a lot of pies. You've got a lot of different businesses going on, and they all sort of relate to longevity, oxygen as well. But how did you sort of get into this? How did you get into the space where you then became one of the foremost experts in Portugal in this area?
Well, basically, it was from... It comes from long ago. My father died when he was 38 with a pancreatic cancer, so health was always something that I focused. And then basically I was afraid to get to 38. I thought, because people were saying that pancreatic cancer has a very genetic part, and basically all my traction onto wellness comes from there. But then I remember running and listening to David Sinclair podcasts, and I remember listening to all his episodes like 4 times.
Yeah.
Just to understand everything, because at that time I was not as experience that I am now. And I remember thinking that I could translate what he was saying into, because at that time I was a GM in the hospitality in a 5-star property, and my mind was, could we translate what he's saying into longevity wellness product in a hotel? And then that became a little bit the construction of the idea. Brought me to basically I was consulting for somebody, and I was talking about my project. And this person, when I mentioned that the impact of HBOT or the hyperbaric chamber on Alzheimer's, then this person didn't told me anything, but he just told me, I want a hyperbaric chamber here. And I said, okay. And now I felt a little bit like I'm giving my project away for somebody else to do it. But then I thought to myself, well, maybe it's the universe that's giving me the chance to implement the project sooner than I thought would be possible. So
this is a hyperbaric business that you wanted to set up here in Portugal.
No, it was a hospitality it's still an hospitality project, but with the only focus on longevity, basically. Yeah. But then this hyperbaric center appeared. We built it, we conceived it, and now we have the second one in Faro. So yes, that was the beginning of the story.
And you also are building a retreat center, and you also have a business selling longevity products and that sort of thing as well, don't you? And you work with longevity-based hotels. So there's a lot going on.
Yeah, that's true. And the app,
and your app, which we'll talk about later. So I didn't know that. Because my dad died young as well. And funnily enough, I went through exactly the same thing when I was at 43, which is the same age as my dad died. I sort of felt very anxious for a while because it was around the age that he'd died. Amazing what an impact it has on you. Yeah. And so really from then you were sort of from very early on, you were quite motivated to work in this space.
I think all these experiences shapes you in some many ways, and you may not even realize. I realized that I was in the urge to do things very early, and I only realized afterwards why. Because for me, life could end at 38, so I was always very in a urge to do things.
Mm-hmm. Sorry. Yeah, it's okay. No problem. No problem. Yeah. Yeah. I felt really, it makes me emotional thinking about it as well, because it's the same for me. It's, it's intense and it's a real motivator, isn't it? Yeah. And then a bloody relief when you get past that age and you go, oh, shit, I'm still standing. Yeah, and nearly everyone that I come across in this industry is in it because they've got personal experience of it. Sure. Like they've like either had family members or themselves, or they've been through some sort of health crisis. Yeah. And I mean, certainly, obviously, the area that I'm sort of specializing in now with histamine intolerance, you can't talk about histamine intolerance unless you've got it. Yeah, it's so bloody weird.
Sure,
And
for me, it's the cancer part. Hyperbaric can have a role in cancer. And for me, that's really a pleasure to be able to help people with cancer, to help them overcome with traditional, with the normal therapies, but also with the complementary therapies like hyperbaric or EWOT or other stuff.
Yeah. So in terms of, we'll get into the protocol in just a second. But so then you sort of, you started working quite a lot with hyperbaric. And obviously we have spoken about hyperbaric before on this podcast, but not for a while. And I feel like it's something that will be on a lot of people's radar who listen to this. But you've been working with it very closely. And it's quite a key part of your protocol. Obviously, there's different ways to sort of, benefit from oxygen without hyperbaric. But what are the sort of, since you've been at the forefront of that in Portugal, what are some of the wins that you've seen you mentioned cancer there? I know you get quite a lot of people suffering with cancer who come to your clinics, don't you?
Yes. Basically, those people that come with this pathology, they are followed with integrative oncologists, usually not from Portugal. They come from abroad, and they are applying the Thomas Seyfried protocol, which is the cancer metabolic therapy. So they are doing the ketogenic diet. They are doing high dose vitamin C intravenous. And they are doing hyperbaric. And they also do this from time to time, these glutamine blockers. So that's basically the whole protocol. And that's what they are doing. We do a little bit, some twists on it, because we understand that apart from when they do this kind of this intense week, when they do this ketogenic week and all these procedures, but then they go back to almost normal life. And during this phase, it's very good to increase production of IL-15, which is a marker for your immunity, which is stimulated by doing exercise and having oxygen. So during the rest of the time, we do EWOT, which is very good for them as well. So
what's that again?
EWOT is exercise with oxygen therapy.
Oh,
so
yeah,
you're
great.
breathing oxygen at 100% and doing some exercise.
Beautiful.
This guy, there is a guy in the US, in Caledon, a doctor that is using only EWOT for cancer patients. And he's saying that if they are able to burn 500 kilocalories, or between 500 and 1,000 kilocalories, and breathing oxygen at the same time is killing the tumor.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So it's like you can.
Yeah.
He did Ben Greenfield interview this person. It's on YouTube. You can see it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then obviously the non-cancer-based benefits of H-bar and credit. I've been to your amazing, what would you call it, a tank?
Chamber.
Chamber, yeah. And it's like, it is like a quadruple espresso. It's so good. But you know, I was chatting to someone here in Lagos who's got a personal chamber at home, and he was saying since he's been doing it every day, not for cancer, but just for wellness and longevity, he said all his achy joints and pains have gone.
Yeah.
Is that, I mean, that's pretty awesome.
It is. There are so many, there are many treatments that you can do with oxygen, from the ozone therapy, HBOT. There is some new ones that is normal oxygen or something. That's normal chambers. And the hypoxic training. So all these exercise therapies have to do with oxygen, but they are very different. So the normal baric is like there is no pressure, so you're just breathing a little bit more oxygen in the atmosphere than normal, which is good for wellness. EWOT will give you 100% oxygen under exercise. So for this condition, for immunity, that's very good. To increase VO2 max, it's perfect. To have a little bit more, to increase performance, it's perfect as well. You can also use it for people that cannot do hyperbaric because of the pressure, because they may have a pneumothorax or something, and the EWOT works. Then you have the contrary. I'm explaining that because many people confuse all the therapies. They think that's the same. Yeah. And then you have the hypoxic training. So you're doing exercise, but at a lower concentration of oxygen, just like you were in the mountains. And when you do that, your body reacts to that and produces more red blood cells that gives you more endurance. That's what we expect from hypoxic training. Now, coming back to the hyperbaric is the only one that have, like, we would say, healing effects, which can go from the classical, when you have the diver sickness, for example, that was one of the first conditions to be treated. But then we go into all the wounds, so post post surgery. You can use it for like a diabetic foot, some wound that will not heal, but also for stroke, for example, because stroke is considered a wound inside the brain.
Wow.
So you can use for chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, Lyme disease, so many things. There are only, I think, 14 conditions that are approved from the FDA in US.
Yeah.
But there are so many more that are not even in as the approved ones, and it depends on the countries. But there are a lot.
Yeah.
One of the clients that look for us was surprising to me because it's, for example, sudden ear loss. And this is a condition that
Sudden
hearing loss.
Yeah,
hearing loss.
Right.
So
really,
yeah, and there is apparently in Lisbon in the Hospital da Marinha, which is like hospital conditions with very big chambers. They have only one chamber is only for sudden hearing loss. So yeah, that's so many people suffer from this. I didn't even know.
Wow.
No.
So walk me through the protocol then. Like I've just eaten a Befana and I'm slightly out of breath in 1 minute. And what I want to know is, because I think a lot of people will listen to this and say, okay, I know about HBOT and I've maybe tried it before and that sounds awesome, but I can't afford to do it every day. Can I get the benefits without going to sit in a chamber?
Well, not really, because of the pressure. What's happening with the hyperbarics is like you're breathing oxygen at almost 100%, but under pressure. And because of the pressure, the oxygen is dissolved into your plasma, into the fluids of your body, but mainly in the plasma. And because of that, it goes deeper into the tissues and will oxygenate tissues that are hypoxic. It can be anywhere. Some people come to us because of sexual dysfunction, for example, because, as you know, it's full of blood. And if the vascularization is not okay, then you have problems.
So it's just like massively increasing circulation everywhere, including down there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but there are some things that you will feel the effect immediately, like, for example, the wounds. People come to us like after a surgery, and then they will do like 5-6 sessions and it's done. But if you want to get the effects on, let's say, chronic fatigue, all the chronic conditions demand a protocol that is which the frequency will be higher. It's just like going to the gym. If you go to the gym and you want to grow your muscles, you need to go often. You need to go several times per week. And that's the same thing. So, but we are working on at the cellular level. But you need to move your cells, just like you move your muscles, almost every day in order to get, for example, for this chronic fatigue, you need to do like 4-5 times a week. You need about 60, maybe 50 to 60 sessions in order to get the results.
Yeah.
Because if you are not, I know it can get a little bit expensive, but if you are not doing that, if you are coming twice a month, just don't come. You're losing money. You're spending your money for nothing. So you need to be as consistent as when you go to the gym to grow your muscles.
Yeah. We should talk more about, obviously something that I've been really interested for about 20 years is mind and body patterning and programming, if you like. NLP for health, really. And that's because I needed it myself. And I had chronic fatigue type issues and spent 3 months in bed and everything else. And so much of my work since then has been focused on the fact that all of the protocols and the things that you do when you're recovering from a chronic illness, especially when it's some sort of fatigue illness, it's not going to work if your brain isn't helping, which is really hard for people to sort of grasp that how their thinking might be keeping them ill. And it's almost quite insulting. But if you look at it like this, if you're stuck in fight or flight, then you literally cannot switch on your parasympathetic nervous system and start to heal. And so one of the things that I'm focusing on increasingly now is various programs, whether it's audio programs or working with people in person, to switch on that, to sort of repattern the mind to start to heal the body. And it'd be great and be great to pair that up with what you're doing with HBOT as well.
We do some part of it, let's say, but we have, when we do the programs with the hotels, then we have longer programs, and we integrate everything. We integrate food, we integrate therapy, but at the center we use like BrainTap, for example. In order to, you know BrainTap, right?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
So I
haven't ever used it, but I know about
you
it.
Should. You should use it.
Yeah, I need to borrow yours.
We have it. You can use it at a lower pressure in the chamber. And basically that's a meditation, or there are some of the I don't know how to some of the parts of the sessions are hypnotherapy kind of. So and there are so many. You can work addiction, you can work pain, you can work so many things, life improvement. I think that's a very good tool in order to help with that as well. But I think people, when they come to us, they already made their mind, because they know they know that. I mean, to come to us to solve these problems, usually people are informed, and they are motivated, and that's already a good, a very big part of what you were saying about NLP. So obviously, it needs to be worked together, but they have already done some effort to like mental effort to find a solution, and they are motivated.
And then in terms of the protocol, the oxygen protocol, I know it's not just about HBOT and hyperbaric, is it? There's all sorts of things. You are very motivated by living here in this beautiful part of the world, because you are able to, I mean, for example, light, I know you're really sort of interested in the power of light, grounding and so on. We've mentioned some sort of meditative process as well. And all of those things sort of inform your work. You've also got an app on longevity as well. And all of this, how important is all of that for those people who aren't necessarily going to be doing HBOT, but do want to benefit from the protocol?
Well, the protocol is integrating everything, basically. But it starts by the fundamentals, which we all know. Everybody knows some at a deeper level than others, but we all know. We all know that we need to eat whole foods. We all know that we should avoid the processed ones. So food is a big part of it. We know we should have sleep hygiene, which sleep is one of the fundamentals.
By the way, I was up working until 1 o'clock in the morning last night. It's so bad. I did not take my own advice.
I think from time to time we all do some... But I try. There was a client in the Hyperbaric that told me that he should be sleeping in the different day than he would be waking up.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
So always before midnight.
Yeah, that's a good start.
I told this joke to my friends, and now they look at their watch and say, "You should be going."
Yeah. You know what's really boring though? I've just found if I go to bed at 10:15, I feel great. But later than 10, so it means the evening is so short.
That's true.
And my boy goes to bed and then we're like, oh, it's bedtime ourselves. And I'm like, but unfortunately that just works better for me.
There is research that says that the best time to be asleep is between 10:30 and 4 o'clock in the morning.
Really?
That's the timing you should be, because of your circadian rhythm.
The quality is better, isn't it? It's deeper. And I certainly can tell that from the Oura Ring. And again, I certainly see that in my boy. If he goes to bed really late and sleeps in late, he's not as well rested as if he goes to bed very early and has the same amount of sleep.
Probably you will not need to be waked up by your phone or anything, because you went to bed early, you will wake up earlier as well. One of the things that is interesting as well is everybody that does hyperbaric, since the first session, they will report better sleep. The recovery because of the Oura Ring or the Whoop, or they will say recovery almost 100%. after the hyperbaric.
Can you open a studio here in our town? I'd be there all the time with a discount.
Why not? We'll see.
Does it impact on? I mean, I'm such a heart rate variability geek. Does it impact on that as well?
Yeah, sure.
It does.
You are relaxed for 1 hour, 1.5 hour, 2 hours. So obviously, and because if you do a session at a higher pressure, you will not be able to get in with your phone or any electronic device. So you can bring a book, but you can also meditate and think and relax. And sometimes I think it's very useful to have a period in your day that you cannot be disturbed because your phone is not in the chamber. Even if it rings, you will not know. Yeah. So, and to have like a period in your day like this puts you into parasympathetic state immediately.
Yeah.
So I was just to go back to so we were talking about food, about sleep. Exercise is a big one. So everything that we are talking is for free. That's what you do, or if you don't, you can do for free. Relaxing, meditation, these kind of things are very important as well. So, and also that doesn't cost a thing. Now, to get to the intensive part, then you can add on this more therapeutic, like the red light therapy, the PEMF, the hyperbaric, and the EWOT, and all these things. But if you do those things before having the basics done, I think you should always start by the basics. And if you come to us, let's say, because we have people that come, let's say they have depression, and we have a protocol for like neurological. We work with a low intensity RTMS, the repetitive transcranial magnetic stimulation. That's good for depression, and we couple it with the hyperbaric and the red light on the brain. So we work on this part, on the physical part. But if people are just eating like junk food and having bad sleep habits and get alcohol every day, I mean, that will not do it. They are spending money for nothing. So you need to get the basics first.
Yeah, definitely. And then tell me about the app, because obviously I haven't seen you for a couple of months. So I don't really know how that's going, but it's pretty awesome that you've always got things on the side. You got the book, you got your business, you got your retreat center you're building in the middle of Portugal somewhere. You've got your app.
The app is an interesting tool. The app is called Hippocrates Food as Medicine.
Yeah,
and basically what it does, you put there your objective or your condition, and you can put up to 2 of them in the same session. And then you will check in with the foods you like, the foods you cannot eat because you are allergic or something, what you're doing, your age, your size, everything. And then the app is looking to what you're trying to solve and is checking where the nutrients you need to help solve your condition are. So it will say you need, like, I don't know, vitamin C or whatever. And then you will see in which foods those ingredients are.
That's awesome.
And then with those foods, it will build a meal plan for you for a week. It will give you some advice on exercise, on lifestyle, everything we talked about. And if the food is not enough to give you the nutrients you need, it will give you also some supplements to take and a shopping list. So it's not only I think it's the idea was for us to use it in our centers, but also for people to use it. But one of the things I've seen is that nutritionists are using that because it saves. Obviously, not. They may not be familiar with all the conditions and they need to do research to understand everything. So the app is doing that for them. And also that saves them lots of time in order to put together a meal plan specifically for that condition. So, and I've seen many nutritionists using that for in that sense.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah.
And then obviously we started by talking about your story and how you got into this. What about your routine? How have you changed your life? And do you do HBOT every day?
Well, HBOT is not meant to be done every day. It's meant to be done, well, first when you need it, and second, you need to have gaps. So what I do during the winter, I try to do 60 sessions during the winter. Now, during summer, because of time constraints, I do one session when I can. Sometimes I do the sessions or the meetings inside the chamber.
That's great.
Yeah,
oh my
sure.
God. Why didn't we do? We should have done meetings for the book inside the chamber.
Exactly.
Oh, we should have done this inside the chamber. Actually,
well, not
it
this.
would be
not
terrible
this.
recording this in the
too
chamber.
many electronics. no.
And also, it's really loud, isn't it? So,
Yeah. So yes. So when I can, I do. Now there are things that you do that are quicker than doing a session. So I do very frequently. I try to go to the center before the session. So I do PEMF very, very often. I do red light very often as well. And from time to time, hyperbaric. And then I try to do, just like fasting, I try to do 2 water fast, or now I'm very interested, not only interested, that I'm using, the Walter Longo, the fasting mimicking diet.
Yeah, the Prolon.
The Prolon. Yeah.
We've done that a few times.
I'm using Prolon on some of the protocols, and I'm using Prolon instead of the water fast. I'm doing the 5 days Prolon, which is easier than a water fast and has the same benefits. So basically, I'm doing like twice a year a Prolon fasting mimicking diet. I'm doing also a series of 60 hyperbaric sessions. And yes, from the day to day, I'm doing EWOT. Sometimes when people are in the chamber, I'm doing EWOT because I'm seeing the chamber and I'm supervising, but I'm doing EWOT at the same time. So yeah, I take advantage of the tools and the toys.
You need to. Yeah, that's great. And then, so what's your daily routine like? What happens when you wake up in the morning? Is there a particular routine that you follow first thing?
I don't have, let's say, and it's also in the book. Talking about routine, it's a very interesting question because there are 2 trends there are many trends, but there are one of the trends that trigger my curiosity was that Peter Attia, Gabrielle Lyon, they all talk about the importance of the muscle for longevity, and that's important, very important. But then you have these people like Walter Longo or David Sinclair that defend that you need to bring mTOR down and to have less protein in order to get to more longevity. So how do you reconcile this? Some people say, okay, you need mTOR, you need to grow muscle. And that's in the book. Basically, what I suggest is that it's both. It's not one or the other. So you need to go through like a week or 2 weeks of building muscle. And then you need to be 1 or 2 weeks trying to trigger autophagy and to do some fasting and maybe have a meal like once per day instead of 2 or 3 meals a day. Or so my routine is not fixed. For example, this week I've done like 2 times 24-hour fast just because. And then probably I will not do it for the rest of the week. Usually in the morning, I have hydrogen water in the center and at home also. So hydrogen water it's my water, my everyday water. I do these sessions when I can, when I have time, and then in the centers. And also there is a routine that I'm going to bed always like around 11, but always reading because first because I like to read, but also it induces sleep so much. And then I go to sleep with probably ideas that can grow overnight, and that's also good for creativity.
That's great. Yeah, I've been recently reading fiction. And I can't do that because I get so into it, then all my sleep hygiene goes out the window, and I'm like, oh shit, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm still reading this book about the Incas, or whatever it is. So good to talk, Lourenço. Huge congratulations on the book.
Thank you.
The Oxygen Protocol is out now, and I'll put links in the show notes to your centers as well.
Thank you.
How's the retreat center going? Slowly.
You mean the project? The project is still under licensing. So you know how things are in Portugal. It takes a little bit.
It takes a while. Yeah. If you get there though, that's going to be really awesome.
Oh yes. No.
Yeah.
We have some partners that are always every other month. How is the project? How is the project? Because they are waiting for it. But
but honestly, like it's really nice to record this and talk about Portugal a little bit as well, because if you're into longevity, you know, a lot of our friends in this world have been over to visit us already. And it is precisely because of the natural advantages that we have here. It's an amazing place to come. But it's not just the natural advantages. There's a really cool, quite surprisingly large longevity scene over here, with various conferences and summits as well. And some really cool people who've already been on this podcast. I'm speaking at the Unicorn Summit in a couple of weeks' time. Are you coming to that?
Not this one, the other one.
The other one.
Sorry.
Okay, you're not coming to my
I was
one,
looking for yours, and then I stumbled on the other one, and I thought it was yours.
Yeah. Okay. So 2 Unicorn Summits. But there's a lot of cool stuff going on. And then in Lisbon, there's all sorts of amazing, clinics and longevity centers as well. So, congratulations on the book, Lourenço. Where can people find you if they want to follow you on social media?
Well, we are on Instagram, TikTok as well. And that's it. And
Awesome.
Online on the hyperbaric-spa.com website.
Great stuff. Can you please open a center here?
I will try to do.
I promise I'll visit every day.
But I'm getting closer. I'll tell you, I'm getting closer.
Oh, really? Okay, good. Okay, conversation for afterwards. Thank you for coming on Biohacking News. Really, really great to chat, and let's do it again soon.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.